Dive on in with a great conversation with the Port of Call here on I-501 News Radio. Fresh off a great acknowledgement for the work you do for public outreach. It's Wendy Smith and Dick Taylor on the air with me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you back here.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
You guys were at Suncadia and Cleellum for a big gathering of ports, and you guys picked up a great award that we'd been talking about over the last couple of weeks. So give me the rundown. Put it up into the camera there. I know you brought it along, Wendy, for folks watching here. You'll be able to look.
Okay.
See.
It's see-through, but I mean, we get the idea. That works. Very cool.
Yeah, this is the Washington Public Ports Association, which is a statewide organization of ports. I think there are, 39 ports?
69 ports that are members.
60 that are members,
out of like 75 in the state.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
and this award was given, it's not only to us, it's to you guys. Because you are the partner of this that makes it work.
Well, true, yes. But you guys are the ones that bring us all the great information to pass along to not only the port people in the Port District, but the rest of the county. So when you go and you talk to folks and they say, oh, what, you're getting an award for what? And they go, what? You guys talk on the radio about port business? And
and the ports are that, they're saying, wow, we didn't think about that.
Sure.
And I had several ports talk to me about how we do it, and they're thinking about how they would do it. And there's kind of a special chemistry that works with us that wouldn't work with some of the other ports.
I mean, you and I had talked on the airs for years, even before Port of Call started.
With the Chamber of Commerce.
All that stuff. And Wendy, you and I have been talking for years, too. Yeah. So there is a lot of that takes place. But then the relationship that you guys have. And
amongst ourselves, Wendy and I and the other commissioners and staff, it just works for us.
Yeah.
In some other places, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't. Huh. Very cool. Was it well attended? You said that there was
it was packed.
75.
Yeah.
It was packed. I don't know how many people, but the association was talking that they may not be able to hold it in that hotel again, or in that that resort again, because we're getting too big.
Wow.
Filling it up too much. What's
kind of the news that everybody's talking about when it comes to ports these days?
Well, they had a lot of information on the legislature, of course, and so there's quite a bit of items that are fearful of lacking funding, and then there's like toxic cleanup programs, and then there's some good things in terms of the dark fiber and getting broadband to rural areas. Yeah. So there's a lot of really good information, and it's kind of a small world in a sense. I'm sitting in one of the first conferences, and it was talking about the broadband and expanding to rural areas, and on the panel of about 6 different individuals, I see my next door neighbor who happens to be a lobbyist for the PUDs. So of course when he stands up and gives his talk, he says, well, the very first PUD is on the Hood Canal area, and then the next one was PUD 3. So it was, of course we were all excited.
For sure.
That's us, that's our area. So yeah, it was great. Good information all the way around. Yep. You kind of get to, they do breakouts on committees. There's aviation committee and marina committee, and so you just kind of pick, and each time you pick something different. There's a legal committee that kind of covers lots of different areas, but it's really interesting and good, just good speakers. And
good speakers and good interaction.
Yeah, good networking.
They have little, in some of the breakout sessions, there are groups of maybe 10 to 15 people in a little group, and you talk for half an hour on one subject. And one of the most interesting ones that I went to is that there's going to be a fishing season next year.
Oh, that was the question.
Yeah, that was the and it was run by a fellow from Fish and Wildlife.
Huh. So what would be the reasons? I mean, just changing laws,
that was just that was just a title.
Oh, okay.
That you could come in there.
Boy, that gets you there.
Yeah. What?
Oh, they talked about fishing rules changes. And the book's not out yet for this year, so they talked about why that's not happening, and it's because of catch limits and return quotas and stuff that haven't solidified yet. So, but it'll be out online before the season starts.
It's a good showing of ports. So when you guys all gather and you kind of look back and reflect, what do you guys peg yourself on the scale of things are going pretty well for us as opposed to some other ports who are struggling, and what some reasons that you see for struggling ports?
To be honest, in my opinion, you don't see too many ports struggling. I mean, there's definitely ports that have more money and are bigger, but you really don't see that. And what's really always, I'm kind of in awe every conference I go to is there's no ports, even next door ports, Port of Olympia, Port of Grays Harbor, they're right next to us, Port of Allen, nobody's fighting for tenants. Nobody's saying, well, I want them here, and you can't steal them. I mean, we're just we work collaboratively and share information, really good information. And I mean, you could be talking to someone on the east side that has great information. I just wanted to say one of the roundtable, the half an hour deal that I sat on was a partnering with the city. And I thought, well, how fitting. I mean, we already feel like we partner pretty good with our city. But what they do is they have this group of the city and the county and the port and, various businesses and jurisdictions that all kind of gather, and they keep all the electeds out of it. So sorry. And actually, we do that. I mean, Lynn Longan of the EDC, she holds a monthly, we call it an administrators, or it's changed names, but we do a breakfast, and we all try to gather, and we discuss, we try not to overlap things we're doing. So if PUD was, running line here, you're doing that, we know that, But what they did one step further is to take that meeting, and actually the port went out and bought some land, and then the city put in a wastewater treatment plant, and PUD put the transformer, and they brought business, and now they've sold it all off, and they're ready to do another one. So it's like pretty cool stuff. So we've already started that, and we can kind of...
And we've been doing that for over 17 years.
Right.
Because I was going to it as a Chamber of Commerce rep in 2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
we've been doing it a long time, and it works.
Yeah, it does work. And that was Port of Pasco. So, I mean, think about where they are.
Yeah.
But they're doing the same things we're doing, but we're just, I thought, wow, we could I already talked to Lynn about it on my way home. We talked while I was driving home, and I said, hey, we got to take this meeting one step further.
That access is great.
Cool stuff. Yeah.
How are the curb grants coming along, and when you talk to your port friends about that kind of stuff, too? I'm sure their eyes open up.
Curb is it's on the edge.
Yeah,
I would say being funded.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of up in the air as to where they're going to go in the future. But keep your fingers crossed. It'll get through the budget.
And the projects that we have are funded.
You guys are fine.
Yeah. And actually, right before I left for Suncadia, I signed the first curb grant loan. I signed, and then supposedly I haven't seen it yet, but the chair of the board was going to sign his portion that Thursday that we were over there. Week. So last week. So that one's going to move right along, and then we jump into the next one, and it's just you just have to meet some pre-contract conditions, and then you get your final contract. And
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, once again, congratulations. It's always nice to be looked well upon for work that you do to get information out there for the community. By your peers. That's the word I was looking for. Dick Taylor and Wendy Smith here this morning. Well, let's check back next week. We'll do it all again.
Okay.
Good to see you guys. Let's surface on out of here at